Have you ever wondered why Bill Gates, one of the world's richest and most influential figures, disappears from his busy life for a week at a time? He calls it Think Week. Starting back in the 1980s, he'd escaped to a secluded cabin, carrying nothing but a towering stack of documents and books. It was there, away from the bustling corridors of Microsoft, that he found breakthroughs like Internet Explorer long before the rest of the tech world caught on. This retreat may seem unusual to those of us who are used to constant activity. But Gates knew something that most people miss. Stepping back to think deeply can be far more profitable than powering through nonstop tasks. If you've watched the Netflix documentary Inside Bill's Brain, Decoding Bill Gates, you've seen those cabin scenes and heard how these retreats shaped Microsoft's early internet plans. But the question is, how can the rest of us, juggling normal jobs and family priorities, tap into the same power of dedicated thinking? Gates' idea wasn't random. In interviews with Fortune and Time magazine, he explained that these Think Weeks started as a way to read hard data and focus on complex challenges that typical office life didn't allow him to explore. He'd devour dozens of memos, research papers, and books, trying to see where technology was headed. Internet Explorer is the most famous outcome, but there were others, including new software directions and early warnings about unfolding tech trends. This quiet reading time was central to his ability to predict changes. While other CEOs were bogged down in daily routines, Gates peered into the future by absorbing countless perspectives. It was less about daydreaming and more about targeted, structured reading. The result? He often spotted major shifts years before they appeared on the wider radar. A big lesson from Gates' Think Week is that stepping away from daily chaos can help you see where competitors are vulnerable. It's easy to focus on urgent tasks every day, emails, meetings, phone calls, leaving little time to ask the big questions. Where is the market going next? Which small innovations could blow up into something huge? By isolating himself for a full week, Gates created mental room to connect ideas most people never link together. It's like rising above the forest to see the entire landscape. In a fast-moving market, whether it's tech, finance, or another industry, spotting the next wave early is everything. Gates proved that dedicated reflection can give you that early warning system, allowing you to invest or build in areas where everyone else is behind. Now, most of us can't vanish to a private cabin for a full week, but that's okay. Instead, consider a Think Weekend, or even a single Think Day, to unplug from the noise. It starts with turning off notifications, picking a quiet place, perhaps a spare room or local library, and lining up quality materials to read. These could be long-form industry articles, research studies, or books by experts who challenge your standard way of thinking. The goal is to not read random blog posts, but to tackle content that offers fresh angles. If you intentionally set aside time like this, you might see paths for career growth that aren't obvious in your daily rush. And if you're interested in more strategies like this that can boost your financial game, consider subscribing now. I promise you'll get regular insights to help you think bigger and achieve more. Gates has always kept careful notes during these retreats. He doesn't just read, he writes down thoughts, sketches out possible products, and pinpoints moves he wants Microsoft, or later his foundation, to pursue. Creating a structure for your own Think Day makes it more productive. Before you even begin, gather your resources in one folder or stack. Decide on your top question, like, how is artificial intelligence changing my field? So that your reading stays focused. As you read or watch a relevant documentary, jot down key takeaways. Highlight ideas that stand out, especially if they contrast with your usual thinking. By the end of your think time, you should have actionable insights captured in a notebook or on your computer. This prevents your big ideas from slipping away when Monday rolls around. While Bill Gates is famous for this practice, he's not the only high-profile person who swears by reading and quiet planning. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest investors in history, spends a huge portion of his day reading newspapers, annual reports, and books. Oprah Winfrey has long credited her morning meditation and reading habits as critical for shaping her perspective. Mark Zuckerberg has taken on personal challenges like reading 2 books a month to spark fresh thinking. These individuals, each successful in different arenas, share a common dedication. They guard their reading and reflecting time as if it's crucial to their success. If few of us doubt these people's accomplishments, perhaps it's worth adopting their habits on a smaller scale. We're living in a time when our phones never stop buzzing and social media feeds beg for attention. It's so easy to get lost in the stream of daily distractions, but the market's also evolving faster than ever. Entire industries shift with new technologies, policy changes, and global events. Without time away from the noise, you risk missing hidden clues in your environment. Think about how quickly artificial intelligence, cloud computing, or blockchain technology went from scattered ideas to major market forces. People who paused to study them early gained a huge edge. Gates calls his Think Weeks reading vacations, but the real value is in anticipating what's coming before others do. That advantage can be priceless for your long-term financial growth. It's one thing to say, go off and read. But let's think about the outcomes. In Microsoft's early internet days, Gates called the internet a tidal wave once he realized its potential. By having room to explore the data in depth, he wasn't just guessing. He saw real user adoption rates, understood how software could evolve, and figured out how to adapt Microsoft's products. That insight helped Microsoft transition from a desktop software giant into a dominant internet player. You might not be planning to launch the next big Internet Explorer, but the same principle applies to your profession. Maybe you'll identify a gap in your company's service offerings or see a new skill you need to learn. Reflection helps you spot these openings. A big hurdle to scheduling a think day is that we value busyness. Many professionals feel guilty if they aren't in meetings or responding to emails every minute of their day. But Bill Gates, running one of the most powerful companies in the world, practically disappeared for a few days at a time to do nothing but read and think. He turned off the outside world. If even he could see the returns from this kind of pause, imagine how it could help you. Sure, day-to-day tasks can't be ignored, but carving out even a few hours of deep, focused reading could bring you leaps ahead in your career or business. The key is pushing past the idea that being constantly busy equals being effective. First, pick a date and declare it a no life interruptions day. Make any necessary arrangements to handle family or work obligations for those hours. Next, gather your resource materials. Think about areas you want to learn more deeply. Are you exploring a new market for your side hustle? Are you thinking about asking for a raise or changing industries? Look for books, long-form articles, or inside memos that speak to those topics. Then, create a quiet environment. That might be a corner of your home, a local park, or a cafe with minimal distractions. During your reading, take brief notes on what jumps out. If something sparks a cool business idea or opens your eyes to a rising trend, document it. By the end of your Think Day, you'll be armed with fresh perspectives that your competition might never see coming. Bill Gates still does a version of Think Week today, even though he's no longer the CEO of Microsoft. He uses these reading sessions to guide his philanthropic choices and tech investments, reinforcing one main message. No matter how accomplished you are, you need time to think. In an unpredictable world, it's easy to miss the next big opportunity while staying in constant motion. Seeing this pattern in Gates' life and in other icons like Warren Buffett and Oprah Winfrey, we can learn that reflection fuels progress. If you're serious about building wealth, putting aside hours for focused thinking might be just as crucial as doing the actual work. So consider creating your own Think Day soon. And if you want more revealing insights about how the most successful people spot trends, subscribe right now. You'll not only learn proven strategies, but you'll also make sure you never fall behind on new ideas that could shape your future wealth.